my name is Aksik, aka Annika, and welcome to my channel. Very happy to see you here. And on this channel we are mostly talking about adult coloring and adult coloring books and art materials and art and everything while we are coloring. And I haven't done a haul video for a while, although I'm not keen on the word haul, but how else do I call it? Stash boost video. And I thought I'll take you through some sneaky things that have very cunningly made its way into my craft room last couple of months. So it's kind of from the mid-April to now. And okay, let's get cracking. I'm going to get the stuff out of here so I can start showing you things one by one. There's quite a lot. There's some exciting things, okay, but there's also a lot kind of very practical update to kind of consumables, things that that you just need and use up and then just have to get a new version of. So okay, since these two stayed here, they're at this stage possibly kind of the least exciting in a way. Those are Longwa acrylic brush markers. Those are the ones that have the direct feeding, kind of pure paint direct feeding system, so they're very juicy. Let me get you a paper. They're really nice and juicy. Of course I should have done the shake first, because they are visibly juicier if you do shake them first. And this two sets I got, I like these kind of a small curated sets. They go either by colorways or kind of like mood palette. And this is the Dopamine 2 little set, which basically has those kind of a almost neons, kind of a, they're in between pastel and neon, but no, this is pure neon. Really bright ones. They're really nice for giving little boosts to the pages. And I know a lot of you don't really care much about neons, but I think they have a bad rap. I think they can really give this extra edge to some pages. Not for every page, of course not, but I think they're great for little fun details. And another one I got was the green set, because I just like having kind of this little curated set of greens. Is super handy. Sometimes just pull out, instead of taking a big set out, I usually put them, at the moment they're still in the packet, but what I usually do is I rubber band them together into this one set, and it's kind of a super handy little set I can just grab and add some details with, without having to take the full big set, have it on the desk. So these are just my kind of everyday things that I use a lot, but they're not particularly exciting at this stage. Another thing that is actually kind of weird, and not what you think when you see it. This is Amazon Basics 24 set of pencils, which is still sadly closed, so I can't even show them to you because they are sealed for dear life. Okay, I think I got it open. So the pencils themselves look like this. They will probably never be used. Well, they will be. I will be donating these pencils. I am not particularly keen on Amazon. I have one little set already, and I am using it, but I do not need more of them. But they are very cheap, and what I'm getting this set for is for the case. I like that case. I am at the moment putting all my watercolors into I'm putting magnets onto them, and I'm transferring them from kind of palettes into those cases, because I like having colors in front of me, as many as possible, and have this variety of stuff in front of me, and they just, you know, kind of have smaller footprint if I actually have them all into, like this is example, this is a previous one I already got. The pencils are already gone from here, and this palette, and I like that the lid comes off, so I can just tuck it underneath. They have very little footprint on the desk, while still I have loads of paints. And this specific palette is for it's for granulating and kind of splitting paints. Those paints are from White Nights and from Rosa Gallery, and one here is actually from Roman Small as well. And there are some other paints that need to get into this palette. These are the colors at the moment. I have some other ones that needs to be, you know, transferred here. But you know, so far it's these ones. And I have a weakness, as you might see. I like a full pan. I prefer them to small and of half pans. So this is what I'm doing at the moment. So this box of pencils is actually, you know, the pencils are going to be donated, and I'm going to give the box. So yeah, that's how things are going here. And another thing that I got is these two. Now, I've talked about these in all my water-based markers video. I did a kind of overview of all the water-based markers I have, and those are Faber-Castell Goldfaber Aqua dual markers, and I love these very, very much. They are super pigmented. So I don't even know if they're, I don't think they're pigment based. I think they're still dye based. I can't swear to it, but they are very, very strong and very saturated, and they lay down beautifully, and they also dissolve with water beautifully. This is just putting down, this is Vintage Pink, it's called. Okay, so okay, now of course on this paper it doesn't move, which is funny because it does usually move on most papers. But trust me when I say it does move on most of the papers. Let me see. It is, you are of course, you know, dependent on what paper you're using, because not every paper is created equal, and you know, on some papers they will move better than on other papers. So let me take this one. Just pull it out, and you can see how it dissolves. So, you know, it does depend on the paper, but they are absolutely beautiful. There's beautiful colors, really nice brush, and sadly they're also, the price is usually reflecting their quality, but there was on Amazon UK a couple of sets, these two specifically, where I can keep an eye on them, and they were on really good offer. So I got them for almost half of what they are usually selling for. So I grabbed these two sets, which sadly have repeat between them, but you know, I'm not particularly bothered about that, because the repeats there are the ones that I know I will be using quite a bit. So these, love them, and you know, very happy to have them now. And next one I got is this little set. Now this is acrylic paint, Amsterdam, and I got it because of my love for matte acrylics and creating acrylic washes. And this one I haven't gotten to play with yet. You can see it's still kind of sealed. It's a skin or portrait set. So basically this is a set of colors for mixing skin colors, and it would be, you know, I'm looking at those colors and I know it's going to be perfect for kind of creating quick washes, and I have tried them before. I had one tube of Amsterdam. It's a standard series, and standard series is matte finish, and you can absolutely work with pencils on top if you use it as a wash. So dilute it with water, and I probably will even try and play with them a little bit in front of camera to see, you know, how they are going to be working. Maybe it's going to be in my vlog eventually, but I haven't done that yet. But I'm really, really excited about this little set. It was not super expensive, and, you know, it's kind of handy little set, but it does kind of demand you to actually kind of mix colors a bit. But, you know, everything that you need, you know, for base skin color is here. So really, really like that one. Now the next thing I got are these two. Let me see. Okay, here they are, and they are usually not very kind of easily or handily available in this part of Europe anyway. They are DecoArt Glamour Dust paints. Those are like glitter paints, and if they are usually kind of sold for a stupid price. But once again, you know, if you kind of keep your eye open, sometimes on Amazon they have this kind of a flash moments that suddenly, you know, this little bottle is about €3, you know, in which case I usually grab one because, you know, they are really nice. And I really like them both. I especially like the green one. I have actually them kind of swatched here. I don't know if you can see they have nice shine. They are not opaque, okay? Don't expect them, if you don't have them or know much about them. Those are not opaque. You put them as a layer mostly on top of something. So because they are transparent, especially this green, I can show you later when I'm showing one of the books that I've used it in. You put it on top of something green and it gives this beautiful glitter effect while the shading is still visible because it's transparent, or you can put it on top of green background. And the black one mostly I expect would be cool if you are doing kind of matte black or any black background, and then put that on top and you have this cool glitter effect. But it needs something underneath. On its own they, you know, don't really shine as well. They're still pretty, but that's not what they are best for. And then I found, okay, so this is just, you know, showing you that sometimes you know, craft and art purchases can be utterly unexciting for other people, at least. So this is just I like to use these magnets for magnetizing my watercolor pans, not for all of them, but, you know, for quite a lot of them. And these are one of my favorite kind of sizes and thicknesses, and I kind of ran out literally of my magnets, so I ordered a top-up of magnets. So, and I need to order full watercolor pans, like empty watercolor pans as well, because I'm out of these also, almost. And I also ordered these, you know, talking about unexciting things. It doesn't look like much. Those are like ball bearings, and what I use them for is I've run out of them as well, so I ordered new ones. I take one, and you know, some paints have them, but a lot of paints don't. So you drop it into the paint, and then when you shake it, it's much easier and much faster to actually kind of, you know, if they kind of separate or have been sitting in the drawer for a long time and they have separated, this shakes them and mixes them up much better than just, you know, shaking and massaging it in your hands. So it's kind of one of my essentials that I almost always have on the desk, you know, just in case the bottle I'm pulling out from the box or from a drawer does not have a ball bearing in it. And, you know, so there's some other kind of practical things like that here, but okay. Next thing I got, also top up my favorite Pitt pen. well, the only Pitt pen I really have. I think I have one more someplace with other stuff. You know, one day maybe, you know, I will collect some, you know, dosh, and I get myself Pitt pens because they do call for me. But at the moment, the funds are not there. These I do get regularly, and I keep replacing them, and I've gone through several of them because I use them a lot. Those are Pitt Artist Pen Brush, and they are like, if you've seen Pitt pen, you know what the brush is like. It's kind of a very slim, slightly flexible brush, and it gives, here you can't really even see, okay, I'm showing you the wrong one. Is that the empty one I pulled out instead of the one that is full? It's not super opaque. It's kind of more of a soft white than, you know, kind of a strong white. But it's great for if you need to kind of slightly soften or disguise, you can see, line art. The pencils go on top of it surprisingly well. So this is one of the best methods that I have found to cover, you know, if you are trying to cover the line art before you color a little bit, kind of soften the line art, then this is what I find to be one of the kind of best methods. It doesn't cover it totally, but it softens it, and then the pencil goes on top and disguises it further. I can show you. It kind of just softens it, and you usually add it in several layers, and you keep adding it until you find that, you know, it's, you know, instead of, I don't know, it's not really visible on the camera at the moment, but you know, you need to kind of patiently add it on the black line only, and, you know, kind of add a couple of layers, and it softens. I don't know if you can see it on the camera at all. It's for some reason it doesn't really show, but this part here is clearly kind of, instead of kind of harsh black, it's kind of soft gray, and it's much easier to color on top of it and kind of take out this line feeling. And I really, really love these. And as I said, I have been through quite a lot of them. And then I thought I'll try these. They are swirly. They had specific name on TAMBI, which I do not remember. But basically, yeah, they're kind of novelty thing, which I thought would be kind of fun. For example, if you have the really detailed background between some things like vines, or, you know, some sort of a pattern, that this would give really interesting, because they're pretty juicy, and you could get interesting kind of detail background with little color variations, because the color mixes as it comes out, and once it dries it becomes matte. So I thought I might use it for that also, you know, for covering the lines with the kind of different vines or little lines like this. You get this color variation already built in a pen, and all of them are different. They're not the same. Like this one is different, you know, they're all have their own little quirks and mixes, little color variations. So, you know, even like flower stems or stuff like this, just kind of a fun little additions. And more so kind of to play with something a little. It was not expensive, kind of, you know, TAMBI prices. It was a couple of euros, and I was making an order anyway, so I just kind of threw them into the basket because they just looked fun. I know my inner child was like, oh, you know, if I was like 10, back when, if I was 10, I would have swooned over those things. So, you know, the inner child, the inner girl woke up and said, oh, you need it. So clearly I had to comply, because sometimes you do have to indulge your inner child. And then other thing I got is that my water brushes, the current ones, are getting kind of banged up. So I haven't had now these ones for years. I used to have them and really liked them, so I hope they're still good. I haven't started using them yet. Those are Pentel water brushes. It's a set of 3, and it has kind of fine, medium, and large brush like this. And I'm kind of, I would like the fine brush to be even tiny bit smaller. I have one from Kuretake. Where is it? Well, it's not that. I'd like it to be shorter, not that much even smaller, but shorter. I like this length of the Kuretake one. It's very controllable for tiny areas. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe they're brilliant. They used to be. I really liked how they dispersed water when I had them. So hopefully they are still as happy as they were when I still had them. Because at the moment I have a mix of Derwent and Kuretake, which are also good. And so I'm quite happy with all these brands, so I can't really say that, you know, the ones I have are bad or anything. So another thing that I got, and I did even a video about, so you know about this one already, is Kuretake granulating colors. And I got the new set, and I need to okay, this is the set 1. Where is set 2? I did swatch it out. Okay, that's the set 2. These are the colors. Am I showing you the correct one? I think so. Or possibly not. Possibly I'm showing you the wrong set. Anyways, I got this set. This is a swatch. So I got Kuretake, new granulating colors, and they are lovely. And I've played with them a little bit already, but I'm looking forward to playing with them much more. And another one thing I got, not talking about practical things, this is Core watercolor ground. I have Daniel Smith, and I have tried Daniel Smith, and to be honest, I'm quite, like, compared to satin glazing, I actually think that it is slightly better option. It's a bit more kind of flexible and actually allows paint to move and even slightly absorb. So I want to try this one as well, the Core one, to see what this one is like. And I think this one actually might have some white in it, so it kind of possibly helps to slightly mute the line art as well. And I dilute them more than it says on the jar. I know I'm not following the instructions exactly, but I find for me and for coloring books, this is what works better. Because I think a lot of those instructions are actually meant for surfaces where you're not supposed to really put any paint on at all. Whereas I'm working on paper. So it's, you know, it's, yeah. I am trying to kind of, you know, eventually kind of get around and work with both this and Daniel Smith and compare them. So another thing, practical but super necessary, and I've discovered that I was out. This is, I know that a lot of you have, what is the name of the fixative that all of you have? All of you say, oh, it's brilliant. And it's very much, you know, very cheap and very available in US. But in UK, it's very hard to find, or, you know, like bloodying your nose expensive. So I got Workable Fixative by Windsor and Newton. I think, like, how you can tell, I think, is that the one that is workable, I think, has that yellow band on it. Anyway, it does have a matte finish, so you can put some pencil on top of it. Of course, it's not the same as pure paper surface, but yeah, it does work. And I've noticed, you know, lately that kind of a lot of pages, because I use a lot of mixed media, you know, things tend to transfer a bit and smear, so I really should start spraying my pages more, which I'm now trying to do. Not all of them, but you know, the ones that I know that are in danger of transferring stuff, or you know, kind of making a mess, or just, you know, kind of things are falling off type of a thing. I would like to fix them more. And now next things, this little pile here, why do they look all squashed, you're asking? That's because they're already in process of being transferred out from the tubes. Those are, I was curious about, I got a tiny sample pack some time ago from AliExpress of different Holbein watercolor colors, and I liked them. So I decided to get myself a little kind of a mixing set type of a, you know, watercolor tubes from Holbein. And those are the small ones, the 2.5 milliliter ones, because, you know, really I don't need more. It takes ages to get through that. And I already am squeezing them out. So I got myself a pile of these boxes, because I have some other watercolors to transfer as well. They're just metal boxes like this, for kind of a smaller sets of watercolors that I don't want to put into a bigger ones, like the ones I showed you before, like the ones, you know, Amazon pencil cases. I got some of these, and I transferred the Holbein, these colors, not all of it, because there's still some left. Usually they kind of shrink while they dry. They are still quite wet at the moment. The transfer isn't long time ago, but it's beautiful colors. Let me show you. Okay, I have this quick swatch here with the colors I got. I got kind of cool yellow, warm yellow, so I got imidazole yellow. I tried to kind of get some paints that I don't usually have in many sets, and some paints that, you know, are kind of my sure bets type of a thing that I do like mixing with them. So I didn't have any imidazole yellow, so I decided to try it. I always love gamboge, so I, you know, picked these as my yellows, the cooler yellow and kind of warmer yellow. I got vermilion hue, which I think was a mistake. I should have gotten a different warm red, but I kind of like vermilion. I did not realize that it was kind of a multi-pigment one already as well. So yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful color. Probably won't be very good for mixing, but I'll still, you know, I haven't done with them much. And rose madder, which I always like. I kind of like the madder colors a lot. Royal blue, which I got instead of ultramarine, because I'm kind of tired of every set is an ultramarine. It's like I get something a bit different. Manganese blue, which I got kind of this convenience color for kind of sky and reflections and water, which is kind of replacement for cerulean in a way, except they're not, you know, granulating. I got Prussian blue, which is one of the blues I always like to have in my palette. It's slightly warmer blue, or kind of more, you know, and I like how deep and dark the mass tone goes, so you can really go, you know, nice deep colors with it. And I got indigo, which I pretty much always get, because indigo is just one of my favorites. Really like the indigo tone here. Hooker's green, which is one of my, you know, one of my kind of convenience greens that I like to add things to. You know, I like playing with that green. I think it's always usable on its own. It's fairly natural green, and then you can add different colors to it to get different greens and kind of different depths and lightnesses and warmth, and you know, cool it down, warm it up. You know, too many things. Burnt sienna for mixing, of course, and also kind of very convenient for some skin mixes. Sepia for darkening things, and for stuff like tree bark and, you know, deep, very neutral brown, grayish brown. Really like that color. But in many sets, sepia is pretty weak. But here in Holbein, it's really strong sepia, which I really like. And then neutral tint, which is kind of convenience color for me. It goes, you can do really deep shadows with it, and also you can, if you dilute it down, you can pretty much get the really soft shadows that you can create white with, because it already has the right kind of undertone for me. I like fairly kind of slightly coolish grayish undertone for the white shadows, so I just got that as a convenience color. Yeah, so this one is at the moment just, you know, kind of settling and drying and hardening, and once it hardens, I see if I can fit more paint into those pans. So that was a long talk. Ouch, I'm tripping over things here. And next thing, possibly now more, actually no, I'm gonna show you this one first, because I think this is so cool. I've been looking for good neon pencils, because I have brought for a neon pencil set, because I do like occasionally, not, as I said, not everywhere, but I do like the option to have them. But it's a very uneven set. Some pencils are fairly soft and nice. Most of the pencils are quite hard and, you know, kind of quite rough to get the pigment out of them. So I've been looking for nice soft neon pencils, which also has nice neon red in it, and I found these. They are Koh-i-Noor, and they're called dry markers. Don't know if you can see, it's written there, it's dry marker. They even have numbers, although honest, I don't need the numbers. It's 6 pencils and it's very clear what they are. And they are so soft. They go down so easily. They are creamy, and the colors and the pop they give is just fantastic. Like, look at this beautiful neon red. It's super vibrant. This paper, of course, is quite textured, so it doesn't look as smooth as it actually goes down on most papers. Let's put it down here in the smooth paper, and you can see how smooth they go down. They are really vibrant and, you know, kind of punchy neons, and they are very soft and evenly, you know. It's not the case that some of them are soft and some of them are not. The blue is kind of, you know, it's blue. Although it does display as a neon on the, you know, if you put the black light onto it. And, you know, here, green. How punchy is that also? It doesn't really kind of display on the camera as punchy as it does in real life. So I'm very happy to have found them, and this is pretty much, you know, all I need. I now have the set I've been hankering for a while. So very happy that I found them. And, you know, I can stop looking now. There's no need for any other ones. I can show maybe. I don't know if I switch off the light, will it work, or do I have to afterwards? I just wanted to show that the blue actually does kind of show up as a neon. This is now a little black light, or, you know, ultraviolet light. Of course, you know, the bright ones show better. You can see how those light up. blue never lights up as much. So the blue is usually kind of a little bit of a disappointment in any neon set pretty much. But you know, it's there, I might use it, but I could, you know, easily live without it. Now this one is Hello Precious. Well, I've been wanting them for a while, okay, and they are Castle Arts Harmonious pencils, and my history with Castle Arts has been kind of a bit rocky. I've had previously their watercolor pencils, which were kind of fine, and I have their pastel tint pencils, which I was kind of disappointed with. I strongly prefer the Brut von der Macaron ones, kind of the texture and the way they blend. To me, you know, the way I work just works better, although they do have beautiful colors and, you know, a bit different colors. They're not exactly the same as Brut von der Macarons. Excuse me, that was me having a drink here. And but you know, I really like these colors, so I thought, even if they are not the best pencils, I am going to give them a try and put up with some, because I just, you know, want that muted palette. You know, a lot of those colors are very rare and very hard to find in any set, and I was right in that. Yes, the colors are fantastic. There's, to me, quite a few quality issues. Let me see if I can find for you. Can I find for you? I have the swatch for them. Okay, here and here I kind of put some comments into it as well, but here you can kind of see several of them had in the lead kind of different color. Don't know, can you see it here? And it wasn't the only one. There's, you know, same thing happened here. There was at least one more that, you know, had streaks of other color in a lead, which, you know, to me is too many. One I can understand, but there was at least three. And also you know, there's, okay, actually there's 4 colors that had in the lead, you know, different color, and some of them were a bit scratchy. Well, one really badly, other were not really worth much of a criticism. So yeah, I tried them on different papers, and yes, I do like the palette. I did try them tiny bit on one page. I haven't really tried them enough to have very firm opinion about them, but you know, you've all probably seen the colors. But if you want to, you know, once I've used them a couple of more times, I can do a little opinion video about them, because I do think that they are unique, and that is why I wanted them so much. You know, the palette is, but it's definitely a palette that tops up some other set, you know, on their own. There's not, yes, you can do kind of a bit ornamental page with them, but they are still, I think, meant to be used with some other sets. Now, in all the fairness, I did try them, and they are, I was expecting them to be fairly waxy and fairly hard, like my experience previously has been with Castle Arts, and they're not. Most of them are pretty alright. They are softish, but they are waxy. They're supposed to be, I think, oil pencil, but they have this kind of a waxy feel, and definitely not like they say in the documents, well, you know, their instruction packet here, that you're supposed to, you know, start with the lightest and layers. So it's like, okay, they're supposed to layer very well, and I started on the page I used, I started from the lightest, and I was kind of sorry, because they kind of stop layering quite fast, and I was pretty much stuck with not being able to put much of a darker shadows down, although I had the colors, but they just wouldn't go on top of the pencil anymore, because it was just all kind of sliding around the paper, so, or on the paper. So yeah, I, you know, will need to work with them a little bit more. I do like them and I don't like them. They will have their use, but they are definitely not as amazing as I was expecting, or, you know, heard from some other people's reviews. That's my opinion now, okay? Then here is, okay, I did not get the whole thing, but I topped up my Rosa collection, but I have already taken them out of the kind of palettes and all of the wrappers, and kind of swatched them out and magnetized them and kind of put them all now. All my Rosa Gallery paints are now finally sorted. They are in the palette, but I do have some new colors here, so if you're interested, I might do kind of a swatching of my new colors video. Yeah, here they all are, all the colors that I have, and I'm pretty happy with, you know, the palette I have at the moment. I might add a couple of things to it just for the fun, but, you know, I do have everything I need. Well, I have more than I need, strictly, but, you know, I have all that I love. Most of the colors I love from their range, and they are genuinely absolutely amazing value. I highly recommend them. They are fantastic artist quality paint for really good price, especially considering, you know, they come in full pans. And I always, but this is my thing, and I think it might be more enjoyable for you as well. I like working with full pans as opposed to kind of a small half pans. But a lot of that is because I like often working with fairly big brush. So yeah, I did do some top-ups, and, you know, if you're interested, let me know, and I do a little swatch, you know, showing what colors I got and why, because there's some really cool new colors in that range as well, and some of them are also kind of like granulating and kind of, you know, pretty interesting mixes that I think you would enjoy. And now the star of the show the star of the show is I got my first little payment from the YouTube videos, because I was able to monetize my channel, and you people have been watching, and thank you for coming back and watching, because I was able to get a little payment from YouTube, and because of that little payment, I used that payment to buy these. I have been wanting them very much since I saw them on Connie's channel, Coloring Chemist. And Connie, you are a devil because every time I watch your videos, I come away with a long list of stuff that I so want. But yeah, these ones, like, but mostly I get over it, like I talk myself down and I don't need it. But these ones I knew that I really want, and, you know, they will be very useful for me, and one of the tools that I will be using extensively. So these are very new. I haven't really gotten to it yet. Eventually I will do a video about them, but I want to use them a little bit more before I go there. Like, I don't want to just do a swatching video and that's it. I would like to kind of work with them on some pages and have a bit more established opinion before I go and do a specific video about them. They come in this, I like that they come with no plastic. This is always now, you know, I really appreciate art brands that come up with packaging, you know, as plastic poor as possible packaging. So these are all kind of, you know, cardboard. Everything is cardboard trays, so it's as environmental friendly as a pack of 60 of plastic markers can be. But, you know, at least we don't add the plastic waste. And, you know, there's a little booklet that comes with it, you know, how they work. They are you know, permanent and waterproof, no blending and no ghosting, and multi-surface. And this is one of the reasons I really wanted them. You know how I like working with water-based markers and markers, but in some books, for example, the same Bridgerton book, you know, that is a fun book, but at the moment you put something water-based marker or anything down, it immediately goes through. Like you can see here, it's not even, you know, kind of heavy color here, and everything you put down will go through. So let's grab and do a petal here. I haven't really even, you know, done that yet, so let's do this one here. I picked, of course, super vibrant pen, but never mind. And they are right about the fact that they don't streak much. They go down almost like a alcohol marker as opposed to water-based marker. There is slight bit of kind of, you know, if you, I'd say, like with any markers, I kind of need to find my way and method how I will work with them. But I'll see now if it went through, and no, you know, see how, you know, vibrant and strong red color. And that's because it's pigment, and as opposed to dye that is basically dissolved in the liquid that goes onto the page and goes through with the water. Pigment sits more on top of the page because it's heavier. So this is why I wanted them. And no, of course I also will want to learn, you know, what techniques I can use with them. Can I play with water with them as well, you know, what other things they work with. So yes, I want to play with them more. But there's, I think, 4 trays. Is there 4 trays? Yes, there's 4 trays of colors, and they are beautiful colors. The pens are of fantastic quality, so I need to figure out how I want to store them, because this obviously, you know, as much as I love this packaging, this isn't a very convenient way to work with them. So I think they're going to end up in my typical rubber band situation. But yeah, I will now very shortly kind of swatch them, and I need to find a good swatch chart for them, and then I will swatch them. And then I will figure out how I'm going to store them. I don't like my markers in cases, so I need to find some other method how I store them. And then I'm going to be playing with them a lot, and eventually I will be doing video about pigment markers. Of course, I would love to have Pitt pens in it as well, you know, to kind of look to both of them, because those are the kind of 2 biggies, 2 pure pigment pens that I know of. I do not know of any other ones. If some of you do know, you know, which other kind of water-based markers or whatever are pigment-based, let me know. Just, you know, I'm curious. But these are the only ones that I know that are pigment-based. The Windsor and Newton watercolor markers might be, the Aqua markers might also be pigment based, but I'm not sure. Actually, no, they're not like this anymore, because they're not waterproof, definitely. So this sounds to me like kind of an India ink situation. And then I have, this is just, shouldn't really go here, probably wasting time with it, but these are basically, it's a matte film that is glue backed or kind of sticky backed, and I'm using it for sometimes you know, for smaller books, or some books I use it for kind of covering, you know, the protecting the cover, or in most cases I use it here. For example, once again pulling this one out, this is now, you know, my Rosa Gallery paints, and this is the swatch. And I put the matte film to the back, so, you know, it sits essentially on top of the paint. And if I leave it as paper, then it's going to be awful and messy and eventually seep through. But if it's, you know, this matte plastic, I can just wipe it occasionally and keep it clean. And sometimes I put it onto the front of the swatch chart as well, but here I have so much places to fill still that I don't want to do that, so I only have it on the back, because there might be new paints coming to this box, and you know, I will want to swatch them, so I don't want the plastic on top of it. So now about the books, gosh, that was long, and you know, there wasn't even, I didn't feel like I was doing a huge amount of shopping. This is a Happy Mail. This is one of my viewers contacted me via Instagram and via YouTube also, and said, oh, you know, you like fairy tales. I'm an independent artist and I just published a book about fairy tales, no, kind of coloring book, the fairy tales and folklore, and you know, I think it would be kind of your thing. Would you like to kind of, I would send it to you, and would you like to have a look and maybe color and, you know, maybe show it? And I was not sure, because I usually, you know, I'm fairly particular about the style of the books, you know, on the art of the books I order. But, you know, I do like the idea of supporting an artist, you know, who is independent, whose work is hand-drawn. And I did kind of look quickly at her flip through, and I said, you know, there's some nice images, but you know, her style of the framing of the images isn't my favorite, because sometimes those, I do like frames. I do like my images framed, kind of bordered. But sometimes if it gets too elaborate, I feel it kind of takes over the image. So, you know, her frames are often quite kind of pretty and elaborate. And if you like that style, then it's absolutely 100% your thing. I would prefer my frames, like this one is fine, you know, kind of more simple, and the basic, you know, even that one, although, you know, I already would even prefer not to have those curlicues in the corner. Like these corners I like. You know, this one is fine, but you know, this one, once again, like, I feel it would have been actually better for me if those flowers went there, but you know, there would be the sea. In oval I can even see, but you know, I would prefer not to have those flowers there. But this frame is, you know, perfect. So the art is fun, and it's my first time to have actually hardback Amazon book. This is the first. I've tried, I think, once. I was looking for R.J. Hampson books, you know, in hardcover, because he was publishing them in hardcover, but I was never able to actually get them. But yeah, this is the paper, like, I was curious, you know, if the paper is hugely different, or is it different at all. And it is slightly, I think, slightly possibly thicker, and maybe not as rough as the regular Amazon paper. I have a whip here. I'm kind of trying to work here, to find my way here. And this one is now done with the Castle Art, the Harmonious pencils, that Castle here. And you can see how I was struggling. I started with light ones, and I was afterwards struggling to actually get enough dark ones onto that surface. So I think I need to in future, maybe it's dependent on the paper as well, but you know, I would probably start with dark shadows and then kind of put the color variations down. But yeah, this is not finished, like, of course, it's a pure whip. But yeah, absolutely, if you are into fairy tales and kind of a magical, mystical fantasy images, yeah, there's a lot to color here. And it genuinely is a lot, because it's quite a thick book and there's no repeats. There's loads of images, but this artist really gives you your value for money, because there's a lot of things to color. I will, I think, make a flip through for that one, because, you know, I don't think there are any around. And, you know, it's always nice to support somebody who is doing their art and, you know, is trying to make a little bit of a, not maybe not even living, but, you know, a little bit of extra funds with it. And this is now, once again, fairy tales. Okay, this is the theme today, by the way. Fairy tales, crystal vogels. They're published by Top. They're small books, obviously, as you can see, but there's loads here. And it has pretty much the full, from what I can see, it has the full fairy tale and kind of several illustrations per fairy tale. So I'm pretty sure that this one has already been flipped, but if anybody wants a flip, let me know. But yeah, the images are, you know, kind of very fun and nostalgic, as Crystal Vogels' images tend to be. It is glue bound. It does have that tape that it kind of tries to hold together the glue binding, but I am pretty sure that eventually the pages will start falling out. Am I out of focus now? Okay, hopefully not anymore. Yeah, and I usually, on previous books, I know that anything water-based went through immediately. But I tried on this paper, and either the paper has changed or they have somehow reprinted and something, because I was able to use, this is Prima watercolor here, and I even used water-based marker here, like bright red, you know, so, you know, if something goes through, that will go through. And nothing went through. So maybe there's a change of paper, I don't know, but you can see already the binding, you know, how it's already breaking here. So the chance of everything coming loose is very high. And I also got this book, which you saw a lot during May. I got it from Mermaid, because I didn't really have many mermaids. I now keep finding them in my books after Mermaid is over, but I couldn't think of many, so I just got this little book that wasn't expensive on Amazon. It's regular Amazon UK paper, but I was able to cope with it fine. And I did quite a lot of work in it in May. I published tutorials, mermaid tail, and this one also, you know, how to do that style of a background. Oh, and here I'm showing you, I talked about that green glitter paint. It's on all the leaves here. And in real life it looks way nicer, but basically you can still see the shading, but not everything glitters prettily. I don't know if you can see it. It's really nice. Okay, in real life. And the frame of the background is done with Longwa color for black marker. I found them super handy for stuff like this. And of course, you know, to have kind of flat, strong background like this, I'm using a 2 layers. And then I've also now sprayed them now with a fixative, because on this paper things tend to kind of crumble off a bit and, you know, smear because of the texture and roughness of this paper and thinness. So it actually, you know, keeps better if it's sprayed. This is just a tutorial how to do a background. Maybe next year I'll finish the actual pages. At the moment I'm kind of very tired of this book, so I probably won't go near it for a while. Then there was another page here. This page, which had a lot of soft pastels, background. Also did a tutorial. I did a tutorial how to do a similar background. I did a tutorial how to do a mermaid tail like this. Yeah, this is, you know, the background, soft pastel background. And do I have... I did have another one here. Oh, and I have this one also. And this is also soft pastels, this background. So, and I had a lot of little tutorials from that book. Then I got this book, which I kind of regret. I got it because usually the French coloring books have really nice paper. Let me try make sure that I have some focus here again, because it seems to be moving away. And you know, I've been very, very happy usually with the paper in French coloring books. Usually thick and takes water pretty well. And I got this one in French version. It was also cheaper actually in this version. It was only one copy left, I think, on Amazon, and it was very cheap. It was like under 10 or something, like 9 or 8 euros, which is, you know, for coloring book, you know, very good price, and art is fantastic. Not, of course, every page is, you know, something I want to color, but sadly the paper isn't great with water. Well, it does take some water, but it's fairly, and it doesn't even, you know, but there's quite a lot of watercolor here, and it doesn't really go through much, but the paper is fairly thin. But, you know, it's all right, but I don't really like pencils on top of it much for some reason, or maybe I just haven't found correct pencils to work here. The images, of course, are fun, but another problem is that it's on the it's glue bound, and it's glue bound real bad, because it pretty much fell apart immediately. Like all the 3 last pages essentially fell out of the book. So I pretty much taped them back in, and instead of trying to be kind of subtle about it, I put really strong black tape here, so it would work almost like a frame to the image. And I did this page, I finished that in the Mermaid as well. There's a lot of media in it, and if you could only see how much it banged up the paper at the back, like it's literally grooves in it. So yes, it's not the best paper, but I was able to work in it fine. But now, because I know Glamour, I think, is publishing those books in English, and I think Glamour paper would have actually been better. And the binding is definitely better in Glamour. It does not fall apart like this. But there's loads of good images here, so stuff to color. And this is, I did a flip through. I was super excited about that book, still am. It has fantastic paper, slightly kind of creamy colored paper. Watercolor does not immediately absorb into the paper. You can actually move and blend watercolor here, so you can pretty much use loads of water media here. Even water-based markers, you can dissolve them directly on the paper. And so many good images, so many fun images. It's so hard to find good dog books, so easy to find about 1 million good cat books but not good dog books, and you know, I'm more of a dog person, so it's a tragedy for me. Yeah, so I tried different little techniques here, and this is a book I really, really love. I'm slightly intimidated because the images are so good. I'm not sure I can do justice to them, but I will eventually get into it anyway, and just, you know, have fun in it, and won't worry much about how good or bad the results are going to be. And the last thing, here we are. I've been wanting it for a long time, and now I finally have it. I was hoping most of Nelke Schumacher Hollow Moon art is her artist name, books, or kind of coloring books, coloring heaven books, eventually come to the digital shop, so in the Coloring Heaven website. So you know, you can get the Vikings book from there, and you know, have been able to get some other books, you know, by her from the website, but this one did not. And I was so hoping and kind of constantly checking that it would show up, but it never did. So eventually I just caved and I ordered the print copy. It's not my favorite paper, especially after they kind of went to a thinner paper a couple of years ago. Now I don't like the paper at all here. But I am well able to work on it. Like for pencils, it's actually not that bad, although it's gotten smoother than it was as well. So it's not the best for either, but I'm, you know, with the, it's got a couple of different, you know, media, I'm absolutely able to work on here. but the images are just, you know, perfect. I have filmed a flip through for this one, and I'm going to, I don't know if it's going to go up before or after this video, but I will definitely, you know, kind of put it up. It's fantastic. The art is just beautiful, and this is exactly the style of fairy tale and fantasy art that I like. You know, kind of, I have a lot to say about this one in my flip through. So that's it. That's all the stuff I have gotten. That's, you know, quite a bit, although it doesn't really feel like it's a huge amount, but somehow, you know, during these 2 months things have gathered. So I'm now on kind of no buy for a while, but you know, if I do get something, I do get it. You know, if I earn something from YouTube, I might get, you know, a couple of things here or there, but I definitely won't be getting much because I have plenty. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you saw something interesting or fun. Have a lovely creative time, and have a beautiful day or evening or morning, whatever the time is in your corner of the world. And if you like my videos, please like and subscribe and leave a comment, so YouTube keeps offering my videos to you and to other people. So thank you very much, and bye bye.